Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. I'm joined by NFT hair Ryan Gorman, Mr. Monty, and CJ, crypto analyst from marketrebellion.com. And I never say my name. I'm Alex Mascioli. How you doing? It is April 16th. And it's Friday, so happy Friday, everybody. Markets have been a little out of whack. We feel we have some coins that maybe normally aren't at the top, and I think Ryan's hypothesizing that could be from all the newbies running into Coinbase after this direct listing that happened. So who knows? We're going to hit the big boards, let the gents talk about what's going on there. There's a little bit of news, Bitcoin going down. I read a headline that it's because Turkey banned cryptocurrency. I don't know how much of an effect Turkey has on the Bitcoin market, but we'll check it out. And then we're going to cover some altcoins, Aave, Enjin, and Uniswap. So we'll check those out, fan favorites of a few of the guys here. But with that being said, Ryan, I'll leave it to you for the legal.
Thank you, Alex. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain and Market Rebellion is strictly for informational and educational purposes only. Absolutely none of this is investment advice, and you should never listen to us ever. Trade the Chain is brought to you by TradeTheChain.com, a global 24/7 community of traders across 23 time zones of all ages, all abilities, and all backgrounds, all using AI-driven sentiment indicators and actionable alerts to help them beat the market. If you too want to trade like a crypto insider and you're not yet a member, head over to TradeTheChain.com and check us out.
And then moving over to marketrebellion.com/crypto. This is Monty and myself and our community at Market Rebellion. And with us, you get exclusive trade ideas, entries, exits, stop losses on a weekly basis with access to our macro allocations, a pro charting platform, a trading education curriculum, and an elite community of traders throughout the world, and much more. If you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service that gives you everything you need all in one place. And you can start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto. That's entries, exits, and stop losses. And we hope that you check it out because we don't think you'll be disappointed. Any words, gents, before we get into the big boards here?
Yes. So not everyone is losing their shirt on the Coinbase IPO like Alex is. Kevin Durant invested in Coinbase back in 2017, and his stake is now worth 53 times more than it was back then.
Damn.
Yeah. Right.
He already makes a ton of money.
Yeah, and he invested in Postmates before it sold to Uber. This guy is a prolific venture capital investor. So, I mean, this gives you a sense for how pervasive investing in crypto is becoming. Even if it's not directly into coins, there are people investing into these projects that you might not realize, and there is a significant long-term future and quite a few of them. So it's another vote of confidence, I guess, a shot in the arm for the industry to know that professional athletes are now starting to put their money where many of their mouths are on Twitter. Oh, one more thing. I was chatting with Russell Okung yesterday on Twitter. That's a real thing that happened, by the way. And he was talking about how Bitcoin is more trustworthy than cash. And I asked him if he'd take his salary from the next NFL team he signs with fully in Bitcoin and all of his endorsement dollars in Bitcoin. And he emphatically replied yes. So he may become the first professional athlete to take his entire salary in Bitcoin. That would be cool.
Congrats on your 5 minutes of fame there, Ryan.
I'll go pick up that name that I just dropped, by the way. It's weighing me down.
To compliment Ryan, I just want to show something. If you guys haven't been following Coinbase, here's the chart, upper left-hand corner. There's a little drawing of me crying.
There's Alex, yes.
All right, CJ, I'm sorry. Go right ahead, sir.
In all seriousness, have you guys ever seen like Jeff Mackey's illustrations on the charts? It's hilarious, and he's actually like really good at drawing. Going over to the coin screener at Trade the Chain, we're seeing bearish sentiment on the hourly for pretty much all of the top coins. Something that I do want to point out to you guys, and something that I really value when I use Trade the Chain service, is the relative trading volume. I mean, Doge up 1,800% when it comes to relative trading volume. Get out of here. I don't know. Yeah, New Yorkers and Phillies, you guys should appreciate that. But I don't know what to say.
Yeah, but did you hear that the Doge rally is now it's based on a mistake? People, so it's Dogecoin Cash or Doge Cash or something.
Dogecoin Cash. Yeah.
There's a company that bought $600,000 worth or 600,000 coins worth, and people thought it was the Dogecoin, and so they all went in rushing into it. But I'm here, and Benzina, FX Street, they all have this article up today about or the other day that it was mistaken identity. It was like if you said, "Hey, Bitcoin's rallying," I said, "What? Bitcoin Cash?" And I went in and picked the wrong coin.
Also, right? I mean, there's so many people who are now investing in crypto after the Coinbase IPO or direct offering, rather, that wouldn't necessarily have done so. And what are you hearing about most in the news and on social media? You see Elon Musk saying that Dogecoin is the people's currency. And you see other celebrities getting behind it. And if you don't know any better, and this isn't any fault of their own, really, these people who are new to crypto, they just see someone like Elon Musk, who everyone's like, oh my God, he put things in space. He's got electric cars. He's going to Hyperloop, all these things, PayPal. So why wouldn't I trust Elon Musk? And they're probably piling into Dogecoin as well. And they're going to be left with a lot of empty bags because it will go back down where it came from.
And that will be the last time that CJ asks us if we have anything to say before the big boards. All right, so for real, this time for real, it's yours.
Oh, that was actually good. It gave me some time to bring up some other stuff that I didn't have up initially. And before getting into the Bitcoin analysis, judging by support, and something that we talked about earlier this morning as well, is that when you see these pockets of green whale buyers stepping in, we're seeing a ton of inflows. That puts a lot of support at these critical levels at around, roughly 60K, 59K. So I'm still expecting that level to hold, regardless of the fact that we're back testing that, still above that 20 SMA. However, the one thing that I think is very critical is the 50 EMA. So from the bearish perspective,
for those who don't know what EMA means, can you tell them, CJ?
Yeah, it's just it stands for exponential moving average. As you can see throughout the trend, this level is not unique to just the exponential moving average. It's also very close in confluence with things like Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, a lot of the other indicators about support that I've been referencing throughout the past weeks. But as you can see, this level is held throughout the entirety of the uptrend, really. And so unless we do firmly break below this level or close below that 50 EMA, I'm still bullish, and I still think that we're going to have a lot of room to the upside as price continues to trend on Bitcoin. I guess we might as well give ETH a quick look as well.
I mean, ETH has been outperforming on the year, no?
It has, and it's further along in that ascending triangle. Not only did it break out quicker, but we're actually seeing that follow through and that continuation. It's actually fully completed that bull flag pattern that we had talked about. I wasn't sure if it was on this show, but we had talked about it either on this one or the Daily Crypto Bite within the last week or two, and had highlighted this level right here as kind of a completion of that bull flag, and we got it. So really the only resistance level left for ETH at this point is 2,500. We broke it, fell below just briefly, but are still kind of battling upward. I think ETH is going to remain bullish for the course of this weekend, and I think it will definitely lead into some of the altcoins, which I'm excited to discuss. Alex, what was the first one on that list, if you want me to dive in? Aave?
Aave, our boy Stani.
Stani.eth. It's the man. So what we're looking at here is a 1 hour chart on Aave. This is kind of similar with a lot of the DeFi assets in the space. We had this TD buy 9 on the 1 hour. We still kind of came down. It took 4 hours after that for price to truly bottom, but we did. The stochastic indicator as well was pretty oversold. And so once we got that cross and we started going up again, that was a pretty bullish sign right around here. Now we're officially above That's SMA, the smooth moving average, which you can see that's that orange line. That's typically an entry signal if we can close strongly above that level. So the fact that we got not only the 1, but also the hammer candle and the 2 following, it's pretty bullish, at least on the hourly perspective. The critical levels of resistance that we're going to be running into going up are going to be 455, 475, and 488. So that's pretty interesting. The other thing, let's check out some other time frames here. So we broke above on the 4 hour. We broke above that previous TD sell 9, went all the way up, back tested formerly resistance, which is now formed support, and we're continuing upward. So bullish not only on the hourly, but I also like what I'm seeing from Aave on both the daily and the 4 hour. And for just for fun, look at that weekly chart. I mean, that is a very bullish, almost a tentative bull flag pattern with that breakout to entry trigger at around 480. So I like what I'm seeing from multiple time frames on Aave. One of the other things I really like about Trade the Chain that I mentioned earlier is our relative trading volume. You look at the relative trading volume on Aave, it's up over 120%. All of those factors, really bullish.
Do you think that bullish pattern lasts through the weekend like you do with ETH, or is this more of a short-term play?
I consider the weekend to be short-term as well. But yeah, I do believe it'll be like into the weekend.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's crazy. I mean, just to look at the chart and how bullish the price action got on Aave going into the new year. I mean, it was at $30, back in November. I kick myself every time.
It would be interesting to go back and see what the price was of Aave when you interviewed Stani, and then obviously how far it's come ever since. Was it around 30?
Oh yeah, and I believe it was like 25. Go back to September when Stani and I were hanging out.
What about
I don't even know if I want to see September. Oh, stop it.
No. Oh.
October, there we go. Look at that. That's when they did the lend. Went and they did the lend thingamajiggy. I can't even speak today.
What about the value of my
800%. Thanks.
Dogecoin dartboard that I put $1,000 into? What would that be worth? We were talking about that before the show.
Oh, well, he looks that up. I want to share my screen real quick. I learned a new.
Oh God, that chart hurts. Look at that.
Look, I learned a new word.
Dogeversify. Oh, you're the best, Alex.
To balance a cryptocurrency portfolio that consists mostly of Dogecoin and Doge Cash. Sorry, CJ. How much money can you see? What percentage Ryan missed out on with his dartboard Doge?
Yeah.
It's really funny. I mean, how Ryan and I were kind of jokingly arguing about the fundamentals or the lack thereof fundamentals on Doge, like only mere weeks ago, it seems.
CJ, you like walked off the set almost. You're like, so CJ, what are the fundamentals of Doge? He's like, I'm not talking about it. Here we go. Whoa.
God, that hurts. That hurts.
762%, 618%. Wow.
So what's that? What's $1,000 times that? My math skills aren't great.
I want to get the longer historical chart. It's interesting that people started buying up Doge because or the fake Doge, like you said, the mistake, because the exact same thing happened at the start of quarantine with the Zoom stock. Remember when you had, obviously what we're streaming on right now, and then you had this other totally unrelated stock that had the ticker symbol ZOOM that also really pumped. It's really interesting. All right, let's get a percentage here.
That's painful.
That would have been $8,993 or $7,170 right there.
That's painful.
I want to make the point though to you guys, because in crypto, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Just the way it is. And even if you're holding something that you have a lot of confidence in, like I know it's really hard to watch something like Dogecoin or Ethereum Classic or various others go up, over 100%. But it's an emotional control that you kind of have to deal with in crypto.
Well, I mean, I'm happy. 2 weeks ago, our friend Donish paid me in Bitcoin Cash, and it was like 640 at the time. Now it's $1,100, and I'd totally forgotten about it in my wallet. So not so bad. Next on the list is Enjin, ticker ENJ, and I know Monty has a thing for this. So take it away, Monty.
Yes, I do have a thing for Enjin, Alex. Thanks for putting that. I don't have a fetish for Enjin, guys. I just like it. And full disclosure, I do hold some Enjin. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's hard. Like you guys said, it's hard to sit and watch Doge pump on the sidelines. But for me, I think it's a good thing. I think it's validating for crypto because the money's not going to stay in Doge forever. It's gonna spread out across the crypto space. And obviously Doge is very retail centered. There's lots of retail traders that are investing in that right now. And what I'm trying to do now is, trying to anticipate where some of this money from Dogecoin might go when people start selling and taking profit. And what I look for is assets that have, strong utility and utility that's evident to the retail investor. And one asset that I think, fits that bill is Enjin. So Enjin, it had a tremendous run following the boom of NFTs up to $4. Saw tons of speculation on this. It's listed on Coinbase, listed on Voyager, and plenty of other exchanges. And since then, it's kind of been in a period of consolidation. It hasn't been that long, but still, it's been trading kind of sideways. And I think it's very encouraging that it found some support just below $3. But going back to my initial point, I think this is an asset that is going to be a strong benefactor of a lot of that Dogecoin capital finally spreading out, because we talk a lot about sort of a hierarchy of crypto projects, and it's hard to believe that Doge is leading the way, but in terms of like trading volume and everything, and in terms of just attention in the media, Doge is kind of dominating it right now. And we've seen it on the opposite end where we see Bitcoin make the moves first, and then when it starts to pull back, we see that capital flow into the alts. I think this is just kind of the same thing, just on the other end of the spectrum. Dogecoin is pumping downstream, and eventually all of those profits will move upstream. But I think one of the first assets it's going to hit is going to be Enjin. Strong NFT utility. People really like NFTs. And those are two sectors I'm looking at in particular to be like, kind of affected by this next wave of capital is the NFT space. So I'm looking at Enjin and Mana are two in particular. And then also DeFi. We saw DeFi really start to pump, earlier in this week. So that's why I really like CJ's Aave pick. But I'll be watching the DeFi sector closely for, an increase in trade volume, more value being locked up, because I really think that a lot of the people that are making these profits in Doge will look to, more legitimate utility-based projects to park their money going forward.
Okay. All right. CJ, any thoughts on that?
I really like the point that Monty made because about like how capital flows in the space and how it's not going to stay in Dogecoin forever. It's unbelievable how we've had to shift our thesis from like, the retail capital first comes into Bitcoin and then Ethereum and some of the large caps. And then as people say things like, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive, I missed out on Ethereum, et cetera, they go into some of the smaller assets and the more, exotic ignition assets that we've coined. That's not the case. The retail money is not going into Bitcoin. It's going directly to Dogecoin of all places. So like Monty said, I don't think those profits or I don't think that capital will stay in Dogecoin. I think it's great that we're getting such retail interest come into there, but I'm expecting it to flow kind of down the chain and trickle down for lack of a better word.
What I'm worried about though with the retail interest in Dogecoin is a lot of these people, it may be the first time they've bought any cryptocurrency, and if they hold on to it for too long and they lose their shirts in it when it inevitably, it will correct. It does. It always does. Unless this is the one time it doesn't. It always goes back where it came from. I wonder if it sours them on crypto altogether, right? And that would be a real shame if a joke coin is the only one they invest in and then the industry loses them
Well, let
versus
me ask
investing
you,
in an Ethereum or a Bitcoin or something.
Ryan, to your point, let me ask you this: not just Doge, but we see Ethereum Classic, trending at the top. We see Bitcoin Cash trending at the top. Are these cases of where people see familiar names in those and they're buying?
I feel like it is. Yeah. I mean, you hear about Dogecoin. It's listed on Coinbase. You buy Coinbase because you see them listing on NASDAQ, so you trust them. Their commercials are all over CNBC. It's natural to trust a publicly traded company over one that isn't, and to buy coins that you've heard of. People invest in what they're familiar with, right? Ultimately. And that's probably where Doge is getting the bulk of its interest. I mean, I'd love to dive deeper into that and see if that's the case, but I mean, it makes sense to me that that would be where it's coming from.
CJ, you had something to say?
I mean, it's hard to say if people, obviously, Ryan, you're completely right. People are going to lose money when Doge corrects, and they're going to get soured towards crypto and leave it. However, there's people making money right now off Dogecoin, and maybe it's their first investment they've ever made or their first leap into the cryptocurrency industry. And that volatility is exciting, regardless of, you make money to start and then perhaps you end up losing some. But I still think it leads to more market participants in crypto. But then again, we're kind of just speculating. I don't have any concrete data on that. Moving on with kind of the analysis of DeFi assets, one that I wanted to look at here and just highlight very briefly before we move on to comp is Mana. Going along with Monty in that NFT play, where he talked about Enjin, Mana has been one that I've been highlighting for this past week. I really like that we're above the SMA on both the 1 day and the 4 hour. We've just broken out in this previous resistance level of this, I guess, we were just trending in this channel, and it's kind of a massive bull flag if you really look at it, with a completion target of all the way up to about 150 to 170. So we're going towards that TD sell 9 tomorrow. Sometimes that's been a real catalyst for bullish price action. So I'm expecting Mana to do very well and potentially hit those upper target levels as we continue the bull trend. Any thoughts on Mana just before I go to comp?
No. Well, I have one quick thought on the bull flag. We're seeing right now multiple assets that are beginning to have this type of formation and these signals right here. It's interesting in this market cycle, but go ahead.
One of those is Uni as well. I'll just pull up that one very quickly. This is more of a bull flag on the 4 hour, but this one's been highlighted as well. Just let me refresh and bear with me, folks. Yeah, I mean, it was lining up for a bull flag kind of last night, but then we dropped below. Anyways, let's move on to comp.
CJ, when you shared with me the other day that DeFi perpetual index chart, I was pretty blown away with how parabolic the DeFi sector has really gone. It really snuck up on me this week. It was kind of one of those silent movers. We saw a lot of these DeFi assets get pumped, and I think that's a large reason why ETH was able to really outperform a lot of assets in the space.
Wow, look at that.
40% in the last 3 weeks. And that's not one single asset. That's a composite index of the largest and most prominent DeFi assets on FTX. So pretty interesting with that one.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
We're seeing a little breakout in comp. I like it. Another type of bull flag scenario here. And I really like that we're above the SMA on both the 1 day and the 4 hour. And anytime we break above a critical resistance level, above a previous swing high, and we're also going into a new all-time high. So that's another bullish item on the checklist, I guess you could say.
Yeah, CJ, that really looks like it's entering kind of a period of price discovery here. Not much upward resistance, if any at all.
Yeah, I really like comp. It's looking really bullish right now. So pass it back to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I feel like the year's gone so fast, or the last like 8 months, right? So we were entering the summertime last year, June, July. DeFi wasn't really on anybody's mind, just the few that knew about it. And then kind of like August came, got a lot of pump. And we had that end of August, I think it was the 28th or the 25th, where everything just hit, and then boom. And then nobody spoke about DeFi all through the fall because it had its own like crypto winter going on. Now it's resurrected again for the second time in the new year. It did it earlier in February, and then kind of made everybody fall. People didn't think about it. And then to your guys' point, you look back what it's done in the last 3 weeks, it's back up again. Now, it's interesting because we've highlighted on this show many a times how the lockup and the chart that CJ usually pulls up, which shows how much lockup is happening in DeFi, its value is correlated to Ethereum. Now that we have Ethereum hitting, some real great gains and highs, that lockup chart should start hockey sticking back. And, look, you see the dips in March and April where Ethereum lost it. Now heading back up. 58 billion.
I'm going to show a very humbling chart because remember when the chef left the kitchen and we all just like pretty much agreed that this was just a rug pull situation, no legitimacy, was never coming back. And then look at what Sushi has done. This is just, it's been such a humbling story and experience over the past couple months. Just because an asset is named Pancake Swap or Sushi or Polkadot does not mean it won't go up in value or doesn't have potential. Because just looking at those assets was, I missed that one.
Or has a pink unicorn for a logo. So interesting times. I'm sorry.
I mean, or a Shiba Inu for a logo.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, guys, it's Friday, man. We got to go enjoy the weekend. Any closing words? No, that's it. All right. Everybody watching, thank you for joining us. It was a silly Friday episode today. Tune in next week. We're going to hit some other things. Like I'd mentioned, I want to hit H-bar. I keep mentioning that because I'm going to try to talk Monty and CJ into going through that for me. But to what they were saying earlier, it's going to be interesting to see how this weekend plays out, to see how that Sunday, Monday plays out. Where we usually get the bleed out a little or the correction, but to see where these Ethereum classics, these Bitcoin cashes and these Doge coins finally end up, with the newbies that are investing. We'll see. So until then, take it easy, hang on to your handlebars, happy trading, don't get in any honey holes, and we will see you on Monday. Later.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.